Industry Insider is only available at Promo Corner, the leader in digital marketing for the promotional products industry. Each Monday, they discuss, dissect, and debate a single issue impacting the world of promotional marketing from every industry perspective. Now, it's time for Promo Corner's Industry Insider.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider Podcast, your promotional products podcast, where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. We're definitely going to get into some nerdy stats today because we've got a very special guest with us, along with our two other normal co-hosts. But ultimately, just want to talk to you today about the podcast, who we're sponsored by, and we are brought to you today by Tervis, tervispromos.com. Hashtag take your Tervis. It's another way that they use social media to promote the sustainability. You've got Four Ocean partnership. Tervis partnered with Four Oceans for a beach cleanup on Siesta Key. And according to Four Oceans, which does the cleanups year round and across the world, it was their largest turnout with 1,343 registered participants. And here's what they were able to collect and count. It's kind of crazy. 144 straws, okay? 5,877 cigarettes, 463 plastic bottles, 187 plastic cutlery, 355 plastic bags, 234 plastic/foam cups, 1,346 bottle caps. That's a lot of plastic and a lot of cigarettes. And so listen, they're passionate about the oceans and they care about the creatures who call it home. So they're committed to making it a better place. And they have been for 72 years, not because it's trendy or helps sell tumblers, but because it's the right thing to do. So you guys really should check out tervispromos.com. You won't be sorry that you did. Check out what they're doing there with that partnership and all of their great products. So as I mentioned, I am joined today by three other folks. And first of all, we'll say hi to Stephen McFadden at Perfect Promotions and More. How the hell are you today, Stephen?
Hey, man, doing well. Excited to be back. I was sad to miss you guys last week, but I'm here.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're back with us as well. You know, we could always use that fourth voice. You know what I mean? And you know, we didn't have the distributor perspective last week.
I shaved.
Okay,
is that what it is?
It rudely interrupted us was Meg Erber, no longer our favorite Meg.
Sorry.
Fair enough. Meg, SNS Activewear, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, this is where you actually open your
Yeah, you know what? It was a rough week in fantasy football again this week, Jeff. I lost my other league by 0.3 points. It's just a disgrace. I don't even know what's going on.
I lost to Tony Lametti.
You lost? Someone who doesn't even set their lineup.
I think that's Tony's first victory this year. I don't know what the hell is going on with my team, but hey, we'll save that for another conversation. All right.
I won both my leagues, so I'm excited.
I don't know what the hell is going on with 2020, but it is affecting football and definitely affecting fantasy football. So any of you other guys that are out there listening, you know what we're talking about. We're also joined today by a very special guest, basically ASI and embodied, right? Like Michele Bell, loyalty at ASI, basically the cog that makes the wheel tick. Michele Bell, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And thank you for that very nice introduction, Jeff. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. I'm glad you were able to wake up on time to have the podcast, because Lord knows we were all up late last night, I'm sure, for watching closely to see what would happen with the election. But ultimately, Michele, what we like to do here is tradition to give our special guest a rough 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, how you got started in the promotional products industry, and what you're up to lately. Give us the scoop on Michele Bell.
Well, thank you. First of all, I will admit right off the bat that I was one of those crazy people that was up till 4:30 in the morning. By the way, not that anything was happening. Nothing was happening. Nothing was changing. It's just I couldn't look away. So yeah, 4:30 in the morning, and I finally called it quits after that. And I think it's just because no matter what election it is, I just love the political process. So I'm very kind of engaged in that, and I can't look away, honestly. But in answer to your question, Jeff, I've been at ASI for about 24 years. And I oversee the editorial team, the special events team, and the education team. And the special events team is a little bit different than the ASI show group. Special events is like the counselor banquet, the power summit, things like that. So I have 3 very, very strong teams behind me that do all the heavy lifting, and I just kind of keep everything flowing along. But yeah, so that's basically the master of puppets. Like a puppet master.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I spend most of my time with editorial, as you guys can imagine, because you live it. Stephen is a distributor, you and Meg as suppliers. 2020 has been interesting AF. And from a news standpoint, it doesn't stop, right? So my editorial team is just going constantly. And it was, of course, much worse in the beginning, just trying to keep up with everything. The ground was constantly shifting, as you guys know. So it's been a lot, and of course, from the event standpoint, what's canceling, what's virtual, who's having what, it's been a handful. It's been a challenge. That wine behind me, if you guys can see it, comes in handy.
There you go.
No war.
Yeah.
There you
There's a lot of it over there.
I was going to say, I only see one bottle in the background. That's hardly a war.
Oh no, there's like a whole case there.
Very good. Very good. Well, listen, I know the topic for today is promo and politics, duly noted, or I guess I should say well-timed, with the election taking place yesterday. We're not going to get into politics or policy or anything like that. So if you're listening, don't tune off because you don't want to hear it. You're done with it. You're over it. I get it. We all are too. But we're going to talk about promotional products in politics and sort of how we've seen, promotional products really drive a lot of campaigns. And, as we talked about some nerdy news, Michelle's got a lot of great nerdy news for us, when it comes to stats and data as far as promo goes in politics. We're going to get into that, but hopefully we'll be able to dive into some other questions about ASI and some of the decision making and stuff like that as well, if you guys don't mind.
I don't mind. Whatever you'd like to ask.
Sweet. Meg, I'm gonna let you ask first questions. Yeah, why not?
Myself? Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that.
You know what? I got to keep you on your toes.
No, it's fine. Okay. Well, okay. So Michelle, let's talk about, you were talking about stats earlier when we were in the pre-interview, and you were talking about how the difference of what each, I'm going to call them
candidate.
I'm like, my head's all messed up because The Bachelorette was supposed to come on last night, and I'm like,
I saw your post.
I saw the post and I laughed and I loved it. Thank you. Yeah.
It was like mostly guys that replied to that too, by the way, if you noticed. Candidate had spent on promo. Let's talk about that. Like, I want you to dive into it. I don't want to take the spotlight from that.
Sure. So here's what I would say, and I showed you guys this from way back when. Promo has always, right? We know this, always played an important role with political campaigns. Every year, especially during the presidential cycles, we see a bump in the industry in sales. So typically about 2 to 3%, you can guarantee comes along with that. This year, of course, is an off year because of COVID. But, I brought this out for you guys. My mom is deceased, but this was one of her favorite mugs, and it's from the 1968 presidential campaign from Bobby Kennedy. And it truly, I think it's the first promo piece I can ever remember seeing in my house. But I will say this, say what you will about Donald Trump, but I can't think of a candidate in recent history who has leaned into the total power of promo like he has, but it's more than that. If you look at the sheer volume, that's one thing. But he managed to find a way, which honestly was brilliant, to make the red MAGA hat so iconic. And it just has this, he made it that it was so brand personal to people. And I think that going forward, if candidates don't do that, I think they will. I think that they've seen what a huge success that is and how people identify themselves with that hat, that, that's just where we're going to be from now on. So I think as popular as promo has been, it's going to continue to be, and even more so. So to Jeff's point, here comes the nerdy part about the nerdy stats. I had CJ Minnick and I dove into some FEC, Federal Election Commission stats this morning. So President Trump has spent overall for his candidacy for the election about, and I'm going to estimate here, $509 million. And 2.2% of that he spent on promo, which is about 11.2 million. So that's just his campaign. That's not anybody else buying merch. That's just his campaign. Conversely, Joe Biden, his campaign has spent 790 million, but he has only spent 0.25% on promo, which is about 2 million. So you could make the case. Look, this year, the election cycle took a hit with promo. The conventions were different, big gatherings, even though President Trump did continue to have big gatherings, they looked different, right? So what people were doing was they were sending kitted promo items to the big donors, got promo, right? So things were still being sent out, but it was a little bit different. Where Donald Trump's people were smart, I'm in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, which tends to lean blue, but they did pop-up stands, which again, I think is brilliant. And they had pop-up stands throughout Pennsylvania with Trump merch. So if there's his campaign doing their thing, and then there was the groundswell of support of people who really, again, leaned into the MAGA items, which I think was, again, politics aside, you really have to give it to the power of promo. These people, Donald Trump spoke at an ASI show years ago. He certainly was not president. I think it was right when he started The Apprentice. And he was then like he is now. We gave him all these notes before the thing. He didn't want to read any of it, but he came out. He was great. He nailed it. And he was like, I love promo. You don't have to tell me about promo. I got you. I've been using promo. I love it. So I can't help but think that the amount that he spent and the kind of excitement that he built around it was right from him.
Awesome.
Do you think, looking at the data, I mean, obviously that's public information for both candidacies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a reason that one group chose to lean in, especially how they knew how successful it was 4 years ago, and the other did not? Do you think that's a trend that will continue, where promo will kind of integrate itself into politics more?
So two parts to that, Stephen. I would say I do think the trend will continue more, simply because of how successful the Donald Trump's products have been, and the MAGA products. When I did some research as to why Joe Biden's was so much lower, the 0.25%, it's because of how they chose to handle their campaign. So President Trump continued to have large outdoor gatherings where he would give out signage and T-shirts and hats. And for a long time, Vice President Biden did not.
Right, no events.
So there's a huge disparity there, I think, to his detriment, frankly.
What about 4 years ago? Is there any comparison to how that relates to 4 years ago to know? I don't know if that's available. I mean, that's on the spot, obviously.
Well, sure. I mean, it's available on the FEC filings. But again, Donald Trump, spent huge. There's a distributor out of Louisiana, Ace Specialties. Are you guys familiar with her?
Mm-hmm.
Crystal Mahfouz.
Yep.
She spoke at our Power Summit
Yep.
2 years ago. She is fantastic. She's this little little distributor, and she's the one who does the MAGA hats.
Yeah.
For Donald Trump. And she was like, I was on the brink of my company wasn't doing great, and I met him and we hit it off, and I'm a supporter of his and I really believe in him, and it has changed my business. So Stephen, to your question, that to me was a tipping point in 2016. Who didn't easily recognize those MAGA hats?
Yeah. Those hats, that style of hat is actually so popular right now, and not to be self-serving on this by any means, but we are literally carrying 3 different hats this year that have that little beaded rope over it, and like the foam. It's crazy how popular that style has come back. It's a very retro look.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, in general, before COVID hit, I think, and maybe you can kind of attest to this or not, in an election year, do you find that we're selling more USA made products during election years?
Yes, because the campaigns drive that.
Exactly.
What's interesting, a little bit off topic, but because of the data that I have, Nate Kuzma handles ASI's data, and my God, if that poor boy isn't in the fetal position by the end of this year, because every 2 weeks I like, give me new data, give me new data, give me new data. And he's pulling a lot. And what I wanted to know specifically was, with COVID and with kind of everybody wanting to stop importing from China for the moment, if there was an uptick in made in the USA, because there certainly is a groundswell of sentiment for that. Mm-hmm. What I found was interesting. So you have end buyers saying, yes, it means a lot to us to have made in the USA products. We love that. We think we remember the advertisers more. And when we dug into the ESP searches from distributors, so the distributors buying for them, it's only 2% of searches is made in US products. So I don't know what the disparity, you guys would know better than me. I mean, is it price? Is that where it's falling apart in the chain, that when they come back and say what the price differential is? I don't know.
I think that's a huge part of it. I think price is, I know, again, before COVID hit, when we were on different mindsets, I was trying to reach out to Belly Canvas to hey, let's work on this. Like, let's amp up production on these USA made styles. If you have the inventory, we will sell them. But then COVID hit, and it was like everyone repurposed their machines, and they were making masks, not focusing on t-shirts. And the next thing you know, it's November, and we're like, hey, like that whole idea just went out the window. So I should have run those numbers before I got on here, but I don't even know what I've done in the USA made sector. I know that it is down just in general, I feel like, just because the government people that were buying that stuff, the people that were buying that stuff just don't have the budgets right now, I think. So I don't know, it's tough.
Look,
I think,
anecdotally, the spirit is there. People want to support Made in USA.
100%.
yeah, I think it's a lot of price though. I mean, obviously there's, people, you're hearing it more and more that there is certainly a swell for that movement, but ultimately I think it does come down to price. Most of the time, like the only time I'm really seeing folks that are really stuck on USA made is if it's union. And I don't think that's changed, like, because of everything that's gone on. I think union is going to be USA made. It was USA made before all of this all took place. So I think there is a bit of uptick, but then most of the time when people see the difference in price and then production capacity as well, because there's not nearly as much, with the surge, I think, in demand, and with the reduced capacity, because there's not a lot of folks that are actually doing it, the production times are a lot longer as well. So I think those both contribute, but I think it's mostly price.
Hey, Michelle, kind of looking into the data a little bit more, is there any types of products specifically? Obviously, you mentioned the hats that tend to swell during election years, or
For sure. So you look at our friends at Gill, right, who do that fantastic bumper sticker poll every 4 years. So you look at bumper sticker signage. So when you're talking about a company like a Showdown Displays, this is their time to shine. Or a Lion Circle, anybody that's got the kind of signage, stickers, the I vote stickers that everybody got, things like that. And then, of course, when you look at a candidacy like President Trump's, where he gets the power of promo. I mean, he couldn't have been any more clear when he was on the stage at ASI. He loves the stuff. That's where he's really expanded the breadth, I think, of the products. And it's fun stuff like the T-shirts. And some more trendy things like power banks and stuff like that, where I'll give it to the Biden people, they tend to be behind the curve on this stuff, but that cockamamie fly swatter thing, they turned that around fast. They did.
Yeah.
They came out
Smart.
with a swatter fast.
There was some really good things that would come out after debates, and they were genius. I loved it. I mean, you have to enjoy that kind of stuff. You have to be able to laugh at the stuff instead of being so focused on your hatred or your love for one party or the other. And at the end of this, honestly, I think that's what I would really like, no matter who wins, because I haven't even turned on the news today because my anxiety isn't about who's going to win necessarily. It's about how people are going to react in either way. I think I'm someone that was very affected really badly over the last 6 months emotionally, just with all the back and forth. It just hurts my soul. I want everyone to just get along, So
yeah, what the hell were the riots for last night anyways? Because I heard there was still, I know a lot of cities boarded up and everything in preparation for the mass hysteria, but nothing came to light yesterday. So I don't understand why people were going to the streets anyways. I think people just want to revolt just to revolt. It's just kind of ridiculous, but
it is. But like I said, I haven't turned on the news, so I don't know, but
crazy.
I don't know. I just think
people have a lot of time on their hands these days, Jeff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
They have a lot of extra time on their hands.
That's really true.
Especially younger people, they weren't in school. Like when I would see things on the news and it was always like these kids in their 20s and I'm like, oh my gosh, go read a book, get a job, something.
I know.
Yeah. And sort of similar to what you said, Michelle, about, or I'll take it the way that you said it, say what you will about Trump, but, and his mask policies. But, if you look at the rallies, there's a ton of MAGA and Trump masks.
Absolutely.
Wearing as well. So I think he's jumped on that as well, which is super, super cool to see.
And smart, very smart,
Very smart.
And that here's the captain of segues coming in. I know that ASI does impression studies every year, and I actually love the impression studies that you guys do. I think it's one of the best things that ASI actually does each year.
That's all Nate, the guy in the position. Thank you.
I just saw the one. Well, you should keep him, give him a raise, and all of those things for sure.
It's really, I think it's such intangible, and it's so nice to have for everybody. You can see where things fall into place and they make sense, and it's something you could Go ahead. What were you saying, Jeff? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you guys had just put one out for masks for 2020, and there's a lot of interesting information in there. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly encourage you to go there and to ASI's website and basically just look for that stuff, because it's incredible info. Like the fact that 61% of consumers still don't have a logoed mask, with everything that's happened this year and all of the orders that I've seen come through, that Meg's seen come through, and everybody else and their mother that's selling face masks out there, 61% of consumers still don't have a logoed mask, and everybody's giving up on face masks now. They're done with it. They're tired of it. There's so much money. So much money. Yeah,
I mean, when I go into a place of business, I don't like when I see everyone wearing something different, because this is our industry, you know, like we want to see uniform. We want to see, you know, consistency. So when I go in somewhere and I see one person with a logoed mask and then like someone with a bandana, but it's like not even matching, and then a paper mask, I just as a uniform, the whole aspect of it, I would like to see everybody in the same. It just looks cleaner. And I don't know. I like that. I like that look.
Such a promo supplier, Meg. You're such a promo supplier.
I'm a nerd. I know.
I personally like the people that use the rubber band and the paper towel. I think it's super effective, you know?
That's crazy. So how about that company, that bakery? Do you guys know about that bakery in Headwear?
In PA?
So funny story, when I was a distributor, they were my client, Lochel's Bakery. I did all of their promo. So that was crazy. And I was like, it's really good to see them doing something like this. And then like really just, because they did it last time.
If you're not aware of what Meg's talking about, which you probably,
sorry, yes.
I think it made national news. Like there's apparently a
big national news.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, they have predicted by cookie sales who has won the presidency, like very consistently. I don't know exactly what the stats were, and they had like twice as many Trump cookies sold this year.
Twice as many?
Oh, for sure.
5 times as many. Yeah. They sold 31,000 Trump cookies and like 5,000 Biden cookies. But I don't think that really, I mean, it was neat that they found something that they could use to boost sales in an economy like this. Like, that's amazing. And they got a lot of slack from it from some people, but they're using promo because they are, you know, cookies that they are making with the names on them and selling them. And it was just great. And it's fun and it's engaging. And that's what this is all about. It really is.
And I got to tell you, so one of my favorite neighbor is a Trump supporter, and she knows that I perhaps am not, and she brought me Trump cookies. And here's the thing, this girl doesn't turn down a cookie. So
I know. Delicious. They were good. I'll have to tell Kathleen.
You almost don't you wonder if like eating the cookie means you don't like them or you like them. I haven't figured that out in my brain yet. So. Hey, I do have a
no, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just saying
you go first. No, you go first.
Stepping away from the microphone.
Sorry. Hey, Michelle, kind of a political and promo, more of a point of view here.
Yeah.
You know, I know Jeff and Meg's opinion on this just because we've talked about it before, but something that comes up pretty regularly on one of the Facebook pages and promo is, you know, XYZ candidate wants me to do their stuff. And how do you feel about that, right? And there's always this, well, you should do it, or $1's a dollar. And then there's the people that are like, no, it's this. And I always stay away from those conversations because I'm like, I think it's all independent and personal of how you react to those things. But any insight as to people that are confronted with that, or how you deal with business and politics and promo at the same time? Any thoughts?
You know, when we've done articles about things like that, it seems to me it's not so much the politics that give people pause. It's when you get into issues like if somebody, God forbid, wanted something like a swastika on something, that's where people really just, you know, they tap out and draw the line. With politics, I think people, I would like to think, Stephen, that people have the wherewithal to say, you know what, it may not be my choice, but this is my client's choice. And you know, I'm happy to decorate what they want to decorate. I think it's more the unsavory kind of distasteful messaging that has to do with societal things where people draw the line. And I get that. If you're asking me personally, look, I'm not a supplier nor a distributor. I would not turn anyone away just because they had a different political message than something that I was interested in. Because, you know, last time I checked, this isn't Yemen. We do live in America. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, so I the only negative that I've heard about doing business on political campaigns and the promotional products industry is payment, and I've heard that there's been some issues with folks
If they lose, yeah.
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 So ultimately, like the only piece of advice that I've heard that makes sense, I don't know if it actually works, but ultimately, if you're going to do it, just try to get prepayment or do it really early on in the campaign.
That's smart. I've heard that as well, and that's really smart, Jeff.
Very cool.
Sometimes I do happen to.
We're gonna act like that was Jeff's idea.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So anybody else have any other questions before we get into rapid fire? Because we are getting to that time.
I have a question for you guys. Can I do that? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Of course.
No.
So what, I, like you guys, talk to people in the industry all day. And what I'm hearing right now is that holiday sales are really kind of helping to boost the industry. Sales were down 45%. Now they're only down, 25-ish. But holiday sales are really helping, for distributors like Steven, your clients wanting to, have items kitted for their clients and employees, whatever. What are you hearing about Q1? Because I'm starting to hear people be a little bit concerned about Q1 because holidays will be over. Events really haven't come back. Are there other things I'm just curious what your opinion is on that.
I'll just go first because to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like everybody's holding their breath right now until after yesterday. That's my general consensus.
You mean until after Friday?
Well, now who knows? You know what I mean?
PA.
The proverbial yesterday. I feel like everybody was.
Yeah, I know. PA life.
Thanks, PA. Come on, Michele Bell, get your state together. But literally, I think I'm not hearing anything right now as of today, but let's get past this. And I feel like I have my 4-year-old's birthday party in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, can we just get past the election?
I think people are optimistic. I think obviously Michelle or Meg, you're on the right topic there as far as people sort of just waiting to see, what's going to happen with the election first and foremost. But then ultimately, I think it just comes down to COVID and businesses opening back up and whatever. And we really don't know what's going to happen with winter. But, it could be much of the same. But, much of the same for some businesses would be really good. Like there's been some businesses that have really excelled in this climate, because of face masks and whatever. So I don't think that's going away. And we have started to see quite a bit of uptick in quote unquote normal promo stuff within the last month or two as well. So, rowing both oars, I think things are really good right now. And I think, like I said, people are optimistic. People are tired of being stuck at home and whatever. And I know that's not going to make the virus go away, but ultimately I think, I just had a call this morning with somebody in Savannah, Georgia, and they said 100% everything's open, back to normal completely. I'm like, hey, that's phenomenal to hear. We're definitely hearing a lot of stuff coming back, but to hear somebody's 100% back to normal is great to hear. So good for them. And I think that's, hopefully you'll see more and more of that, coming to light.
Steven, as a distributor, I'm curious.
Yeah. So kind of looking at our company-wide pipeline, it's kind of how I would evaluate expected close dates and to figure out some of those extending into next year's projects. And I would say, we had a fairly normal October, which is from last year even. So that's great. And November and December look the same as previous year as well. So we're seeing a lot of great things. And about 60% of those are about Q4 type of projects. So that means there is a good chunk of that's not specifically for a December, launch. So that could be a project that ends up closing in December and going into January or February. But traditionally, our January has always been the slowest, probably the slowest month. And I think a lot of that is because there is such a rush in December. Then, us as salespeople, we're not selling as much either with having a week off at a trade show. And, so there's some things that kind of go into that. But it does feel a little bit like last year, where there are projects that will extend into the new year. I think over the next 30 days, though, it'll really kind of shape out for us to figure out, is it going to be a normal January, or is that all that's coming in? So
I think a lot of people are that way, Stephen, where January is pretty slow. And I think, I think some of that is, a lot of fiscal budgets start January. So people aren't quite sure how they're going to use their budget yet for the year, or haven't completely planned it out.
It's usually a planning month for us, to really ramp up the year, but there are still things.
So just a couple things to chime in on Facebook real quick, and then we'll get to rapid fire. Yeah. First of all, Mike Rossi, Michelle, you'll like this because I know where you lie. He wants to know if the Trump cookies were orange flavored. Haha.
They were not, but they should have been. That would have been great.
Yeah. So Mandy Rudd also chimes in, and she is tagging Stephen. Just wants to say that you have a great question, and yes, absolutely. Of course, it goes away now. Thanks, people, for chiming in on Facebook. Appreciate it. Basically, she was saying, yes, you should, she supports the decision of taking business, even if it's, from the opposite side, because ultimately it is business. And Bill Petrie in the same regards had said that, yeah, you should strongly take that business because, it's profit, and you can then take that money and use it to a cause that you support, basically, even maybe the
political side.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a strong note. So ultimately, yeah, I think that's a lot of good information and good insight from our viewers. So let's go into rapid fire. What do you think?
Let's do it.
We should do it.
Yeah. All right, Meg, you start.
All right. So over COVID, you guys know how I've basically, it's like, like a mullet, business in the front, party in the back, with business on top and whatever's going on down below. I mean, pants wise. Sorry, I got weird. So what am I wearing? What kind of pants or lack thereof am I wearing today?
Wait, we're guessing what you're wearing, or we have to tell you what we're wearing?
No, I want you to guess what I'm wearing.
I'm going to say jeans, because jeans is Wednesday's the only day that you actually put anything other than sweatpants on.
Very close. Very close. Go ahead, Michelle. What do you think I'm wearing?
Cutoffs.
Okay, Stephen.
Shorts.
Nice.
No shoes, but I am wearing my USA pants because I love America.
Very patriotic of you, Meg. Very patriotic of you.
Go ahead.
All right, who's next? Go ahead, Steve.
I'll go. What date do you plan on putting up your Christmas decorations?
Decorations or a tree, or all of the above?
Yes.
I think you can start putting decorations up anytime now. You shouldn't turn them on yet, but you can put them up while the weather is still in the 60s, at least here in the mid-Atlantic. I personally hate putting up Christmas lights outside when it's 30 degrees and you can't feel your freaking hands.
Yeah.
But no, tree should not go up a day before Black Friday.
I have to agree. Although this year I feel like I've seen so many people already saying they're putting their tree up. But hey, good for you guys. Have that Christmas cheer.
It's crazy.
That elf on the shelf stuff really is fun for you this year.
Look, you can start listening to music now if you want. Like I'm a Christmas music guy. I'll start listening to Christmas music a week or two before Thanksgiving. That's fine. Don't put up the tree yet. Let Thanksgiving. Okay. All right.
Everyone loves my leggings. Everyone loves my pants. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay. What's your favorite scent that is so evocative that it just brings you back to a moment in time and just stops you in your tracks?
I'll go. I actually smelled it the other day. We were driving down the street and there was a fire in the distance. And there was the smell of campfire that just came through the car, and I was like, this is nice. So probably that.
That's a great one.
Fall campfire.
This is a really interesting question. I like this question, actually. There's a good one. The campfire is actually a really good answer. I could go a couple different directions.
Thank you.
You could go alcohol and have some funny stories there. Some people smell a certain type of alcohol and they absolutely get sick on their stomach already. Like for me, Sambuca.
Jaeger.
Can't do Sambuca. Thank you, Rowan Villamek. Really appreciate that. But no, I don't know why, but I love it. There's actually a candle called warm pipe tobacco is the scent. And it smells really good. Doesn't sound like it would smell good. Smells really good.
It does. No, I would love that too. I love that smell. Megan?
Oh, mine's so weird. It's a shampoo from like the 80s.
What is it?
Do you guys remember Finesse?
Yeah.
So I remember it was so strong. My friend Carolyn, when we were growing up, used to wear it, and her hair always used to smell. I mean, I literally remember that smell, and I smelled it maybe like a couple weeks ago in something. I was like,
You should have had your answer as Carolyn's hair. It would have been weird.
Carolyn's hair, yeah. I know. I haven't seen her probably in 20 years either. I mean, literally. So, but yeah, we used to always hang out, go like every Sunday we'd go to church together, and I just always
smell each other's hair.
It's weird, right? It's weird. I'm sorry, Carolyn. I remember.
Right, a couple folks from Facebook want to play the game as well. Randy Kin says Fireball.
Yeah, of course.
And then Mandy Rudd, I'm going to throw you under the bus here. I don't know if this is a joke or if this is. So Mandy says Polo Cologne reminds her of boys in 1960 or 1986.
Yes. I get that.
I have some of that. Michelle,
Fair
what's yours?
It's two things. It's the smell of Christmas trees and copper tone. I love the smell of copper tone. Just makes me happy because it reminds me of the summer and being at the beach. Jersey Shore, Avalon.
Why is it gotta be copper tone? You got something against like the what's Australian gold
or banana boat? I think it's just because what my mom used when I was little. Yeah. Copper tone and Christmas trees.
Fair enough.
All right, Jeff, you're rapid fire.
Oh Lord, man. See, this is Meg, you really switched it up on us. And I was trying to think of a question for Michelle, and now I've got to ask a question to all of you. So I'm going to be lame and I'm just going to ask your favorite promo product. It's lame, I know. You changed it up on me literally a minute before the podcast.
Favorite Halloween candy.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Hey, what's your favorite Halloween candy? Thank you, Steven.
Kit Kat.
Yeah, not everybody wants. It's not called rapid fire or anything. Don't,
I'm done. I did my part.
Mine is Take 5, and you can only find them in bags at Halloween, so I call it the unicorn of candy. And when I find them, Jeff, I buy, I swear to God, 100 bags and hoard them like a nut.
What was that again?
Take 5 bars.
Oh, Take 5. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Definitely.
Meg.
Gosh, so I've been doing this 8-week challenge, and I haven't had like many carbs or sugar, but Adeline came home with a whole bag of candy the other day, and I ate like 7 Reese's and it was so good. But then I had a Snickers and I was like, oh my gosh. So between Reese's and Snickers, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I love a good Snickers, but I'd have to say Reese's or Butterfinger, actually.
Butterfinger, that's right. Yes, yeah. Butterfinger.
So Logo Jojo also chimes in and says fresh coffee. I think we could all probably really appreciate this with this
That's a good one.
question.
That's
yes, that really hits home, especially today when you were up until 4:30 in the morning and are probably double fisting cups of coffee right now.
What would you put? Is there a good item you could put the coffee in, Jeff?
Yeah, I think you could probably find some pretty good tumblers or something. Maybe from a company called Tervis. Would that maybe ring a bell? I really appreciate the layup there, Stephen. That was great. Great segue into our sponsor, Tervis. All right. Been around since 1946, starting with their classic line. Sleek styles makes this perfect for the active and on-the-go lifestyle. Tervis is the original double-wall insulated drinkware that keeps cold drinks cold and reduces condensation. Backed by a made-for-life guarantee, Tervis is the original customizable double-wall insulated drinkware that keeps hot drinks hot and cold drinks cold. Stephen's favorite line. Available in several sizes, including a sippy cup, wine glass, both stemmed and stemless for the fancy folks, 10-ounce wavy, 16-ounce mug, 16-ounce and 24-ounce tumblers, and a 24-ounce water bottle. They're made from Triton plastic, made in America. There you go. Back to the USA-made products. Lifetime warranty, dishwasher safe, microwave safe, and BPA free. Check them out at tervispromos.com. You won't be sorry that you did, I promise you. And I think that's going to do it. Anybody else have any closing questions or remarks?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, thank you. It was great.
Thank you. No, and I just think at the end of this, guys, we are all friends, and I think just promo family, we're all family. So remember that, no matter who ends up being our leader next week or next month or whenever. But
was it Tropic Thunder? Is ELE? Everybody love everybody.
Everybody love everybody.
Fair enough.
I
All
love
right.
that.
Well, with that being said, goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.